The Young and the Restless scoop for Thursday, October 16th reveals Detective Burrows will deliver disturbing news to Nick Newman and Sharon Newman. Also coming up, Phyllis Summers will needle Danny Romalotti and Christine Blair about their upcoming nuptials. Plus, Tessa Porter will beg Mariah Copeland to come home, and Nikki Newman wants to be with Nick in L.A. Y&R spoilers tease Danny will tell Christine that Daniel Romalotti can't be at his bachelor party since he's gone to Boston with Tessa. They'll discuss the caterer and guests, and Phyllis will walk in. She'll say she hasn't RSVP'd yet because she didn't get an invite. Phyllis will add the rumor about them getting married is true. She can't believe she's the last to know. "I can't believe you're doing this again," Phyllis will tell Danny. "Why would you waste your time with her?" Danny will implore Phyllis to accept the fact that she's not invited to the wedding. Christine will say her predictions come from a woman who's never had a real relationship with anyone and has spent the majority of her life alone. Phyllis will say she came over to wish them well, and this is what she gets. After a little more back-and-forth bickering, Phyllis will finally take her coffee and go. In Boston, Tessa will wait at a table for Mariah, who will walk out with an angry look on her face. She'll say the first 2 times she stared at an empty chair for 2 hours. This is an improvement. Tessa will tell her she looks so beautiful. Mariah will say she's anything but. As Tessa talks, Mariah will sit there in silence, frustrating her wife. "How is this helping?" Tessa will ask her. "It doesn't seem like you're getting better. It seems like you're even worse." However, Mariah will say she has to dig through the muck to get to the other side. Then Tessa will grab a deck of cards and say she's teaching Aria to play Old Maid. As she deals out the cards, Tessa will tell Mariah she and Daniel wrote a song, and they're going to play it at Danny and Christine's wedding. She can't wait for Mariah to hear it. "I don't think that's going to happen," Mariah will reply. "Seeing you like this, so lost, it's breaking my heart," Tessa will say. "I'm going to get you out of here, and I'm going to take you home." Mariah will say she's not leaving. "You shouldn't come back and visit me again," she'll add. Tessa will embrace her, and Mariah will hug her back, but then she'll pull back and walk away. Meanwhile, Sharon and Nick will sit by Noah Newman's bedside. "We need you to get better so you can get out there and set the world on fire," Nick will tell his son. Then he'll get a call from Nikki, Victor Newman, and Victoria Newman. Nick will say Noah has a serious head injury, and Sharon will say he has so many bandages they can't even see his face. Nikki will say she can fly out there, but Nick will suggest she stay put. The doctor will walk in, and Sharon will ask if Noah's going to survive. He'll ask to speak to them outside. The doctor will tell them they want to induce a coma, to reduce the swelling to Noah's brain. Sharon will start blubbering, saying it's just like Cassie. A nurse will give them their son's belongings, and Nick will say a prayer for Noah. Then he'll head into the hallway to call his parents. Nikki will ask what the doctor said. "Noah's got swelling on the brain. They're going to induce a coma." Nick will ask Victor to find the best brain specialist possible for Noah. "Consider it done," Victor will reply. Nick will say he's worried about Sharon. She's been through so much. When Nick returns, Sharon will reminisce about the past and how happy they were as a family with Cassie and Noah. Now look at them. They lost Cassie. They're no longer married, and now Noah. "Don't do that," Nick will say to Sharon. Then a man will walk into the waiting room and ask for Nicholas Newman. Nick will say that's him. Finally, the stranger will introduce himself as Detective Burrows. He'll say he's investigating the crash involving their son. Nick will say he thought it was an accident. "That remains to be seen," Burrows will reply. He'll add that there was a witness. "It appears another vehicle may have run your son off the road and kept going." Keep reading the Soap Scoop for Young and the Restless spoilers and news. And make sure to also join our Y&R Facebook group or leave us a reply in our comments section. But if you miss an episode, don't fret. You can watch The Young and the Restless online at cbs.com. Hello everyone! Welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Here are your spoilers for the Thursday, October 16th, 2025 episode of The Young and the Restless. Nikki Newman isn't one to just stand by and let her family suffer. If she senses that they're in trouble, she's going to take action. Nikki's aware that Noah has been in a car accident and that Nick has rushed to Los Angeles to be by his son's side and to be with Sharon, his ex, and Noah's mom. It may mean hopping on a plane herself or making sure that Noah has the best doctors in Los Angeles. But on Thursday's show, watch for Nikki to take action. Tessa has been worried sick that Mariah is in over her head regarding the situation she got herself into when she took a business trip last summer. Rather than let Mariah walk out of her life, Tessa is determined to get to the bottom of Mariah's mystery, and she wants to let her know that she can lean on her. On Thursday's show, watch for Tessa to visit Mariah. Will Mariah open her heart and let herself be open to Tessa's concern for her? Mariah had been laser-focused on pushing Tessa away. She feels that there's no getting past what she did, which she confessed was nearly killing a man. But there has to be more to this story. Perhaps Mariah will share more when she and Tessa meet. Nick and Sharon have been distraught over Noah's condition. Fortunately, he survived surgery, but the young man is not out of the woods yet. They're in a strange city and are facing a huge ordeal. They need a friend. On Thursday's show, they're going to meet a mysterious stranger. While that sounds ominous, perhaps this newcomer will be a friend and not a foe? Nick and Sharon are vulnerable now. They may not be open to receiving some aid, even though they may need it right now. Is this person tied to the show's other storyline that's set in Los Angeles with Holden, Kyle, and Noah's cousin Claire? Tune in to find out. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Friday, October 17th reveal that Nick Newman will go on a truth search while Audra Charles faces a tough blow. Billy Abbott and Jack Abbott will also have a conversation that could serve as a fix-it for their relationship. So here's what Y&R fans can expect. There's been some tension between Jack and Billy lately, but Jack will hope to change that in Friday's Y&R episode. Jack will approach Billy with the goal of smoothing things over, especially since they need to focus on tackling their Kane-Ashby problems. Not any more brother conflict. Of course, Jack may ultimately weigh in on the Jill Abbott investor situation as well. Billy wasn't thrilled about Sally Spectra's pitch, but Jack may urge Billy to go along with it. In Los Angeles, Nick will be on a mission to uncover the whole story behind Noah Newman's car crash, especially now that Detective Burrow is hinting about foul play. Someone spotted another vehicle seemingly running Noah's car off the road before it tumbled into the ravine. The driver of that vehicle kept right on going, so Nick may want to speak with the witness who called in the crash. Nick will be determined to figure out who's responsible for targeting Noah and may promise Sharon Newman that he's going to solve this mystery. Detective Burrow will promise to do everything he can to crack the case as well, but Sharon and Nick will remain on edge over whatever trouble Noah's landed in. Next, Audra will face a difficult blow that's connected to her past. Perhaps that means Audra will get updates on Noah's horrible ordeal and the serious injuries he's struggling with. Audra is Noah's former flame and may still have some love in her heart for him. Once Audra gets the latest Noah news, old feelings might come rushing back as she worries for her ex. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Noah and Audra could reconnect romantically somewhere down the line, so stay tuned. Here's what happened on the Wednesday, October 15th, 2025, episode of The Young and the Restless. Claire enjoyed a beverage on the rooftop of a Los Angeles establishment, but her morning quickly soured. To her shock, Kyle called out her name and surprised her with a bouquet. She asked what he was doing there, and he said it was a surprise. She couldn't believe what was going on, and she asked if something was wrong back in Genoa City. Claire couldn't understand why Kyle flew across the country to bring her flowers. She admitted it was thoughtful, but she questioned how he tracked her down. He attempted to cite her social media photos as his guide to her, but she didn't buy it. Ultimately, Kyle confessed that Victoria told him where she was staying, and he asked Claire not to be upset. Kyle played the Harrison card and told her that Harrison missed her and about his nightmare. Claire was worried, which allowed Kyle to dig deeper and expand on the bad dream. After Kyle explained all of the details, Claire hoped Harrison didn't think she left to get away from him. Kyle switched subjects to their relationship, which left Claire on edge. He stated, "I feel like I drove you to make this mistake to come to LA with Holden." She told Kyle he shouldn't have come, and she didn't want to argue. She laid into him and said, "I don't want to argue, and I don't want to listen to you criticize my decisions. I'm not here because of you. I made it very clear before I left why I was doing this, why I needed to take this trip. I need some space, and I need you to understand that, and I need you to respect it." Instead of taking in anything Claire said, Kyle remarked that Claire looked like she had a late night out. She remarked that telling her she looked awful wasn't the best way to win her back. He asked if she was okay, and not only did she say she was fine, she rubbed it in his face how great her night had been. She loved LA, and although Kyle attempted to disrupt her plans, she said she had plans and wanted to do it on her own. Kyle liked being with Claire and asked if they could spend time together. She reminded him that Holden was her tour guide and her plans stayed in place. Again, she explained, "I need to be on this journey for myself, whether you like it or not. You can't be a part of it." Kyle brought it back to Holden, and he wondered why Holden was part of it and not him. Kyle was greeted by Holden, who began things civilly. However, Kyle had other plans. He barked at Holden and said, "You interrupted a private conversation, so why don't you find some other traffic you can get caught up in?" Claire stopped the conversation right there, and she asked Kyle to leave. To Holden's shock, Claire asked him for more time to speak to Kyle. She gave Kyle the floor and wanted to know what else he had to say. He brought up her journey of self-discovery, which she found patronizing. He promised it wasn't like that, and explained to Claire that he wished she could go on that journey with him, and not someone like Holden. Claire defended Holden to Kyle, but he pointed out the odd timing of her breaking things off with him while spending time with Holden. No matter how many times Claire attempted to explain her motives to Kyle, he wouldn't get it. He brought it back to Holden every time, but at this point, she asked for distance from him. She tried to be as nice as humanly possible, but even with all of Kyle's antics, she hinted at a future between them. Kyle wanted to give her space, but he also wanted to fight for their relationship. He said, "Claire, I know following you here was crazy, but I'm crazy about you. The love I have for you has me completely off balance, and I want to give you the space and freedom that you need. But I also want to fight for us and what I know we can be. Part of me is terrified that if I let you go, you'll think the love I have for you is gone, when it never could be." Claire confessed she knew Kyle loved her, but she didn't want to think of the past. She wanted to live in the moment for once. She held his hand and agreed that she missed him, and she made plans to visit Chancellor Park when she got back to town. He informed her he'd be in town for a few days, but he vowed not to bother her again during the trip. Holden told Claire after Kyle walked away that he believed he was truly in love with her. He also gave her an out about leaving the trip if she wanted, but she put her arm on him, which foreshadowed more down the line. Victoria encountered Nate at Crimson Lights and asked to join him. He noticed she seemed upset and asked what had happened, and she informed him of Noah's accident. She confirmed Nick landed in LA a few hours prior, but she didn't have an update on his condition. Nate questioned why Noah had been in Los Angeles at all, and Victoria discussed Noah's plans to extend his business dealings there. Nate was hopeful the injuries weren't too severe, but Victoria said they sounded dire. Victoria harkened back to Cassie's death and Faith's previous accident, and stated her brother and Sharon have been through this too much. Victoria apologized for taking up too much of Nate's time, but he assured her he was working on something personal, and it didn't involve his work. He wanted to make a charitable donation in Damien's honor, something he and Amy had already discussed. Since Nate was a helpful force for Clary after Cole's death, Victoria wondered if Nate had taken his own advice and spoken to his deceased brother. Nate felt like it was a good idea, and he truly believed Damien would have approved. Victoria wanted to do something similar for Cole, but she hadn't run it by Cole yet. Victoria also expressed a desire to have Claire home with her, instead of in Los Angeles with Holden. Victoria spilled about Claire's breakup with Kyle, and although Nate was sorry, he hoped they could find a way to work through it. Victoria recognized that Kyle's indiscretion with Audra in France wasn't easy for him either. She second-guessed bringing it up, but he maintained it was fine. Nate told Victoria that Audra no longer had his heart, and there was no chance at a path forward. However, he still believed Kyle and Claire could work things out. Victoria felt as if Claire was lost, not just from the Kyle problems, but that it also stemmed from her father's sudden death. Victoria asserted that her problem wasn't with Claire venturing off to Los Angeles, but she didn't like who she was there with, Holden Novak. Nate told Victoria that he didn't trust Holden either. When he first met Holden, he pretended to be Damien, so he wasn't a fan. Nate agreed with anyone who suggested Holden might be a problem for Claire. Victoria worried Claire wasn't in the proper state of mind to handle anything, and she admitted she shouldn't have given Kyle that information. Victoria wondered why she hadn't gotten any updates from Nick about Noah. Although Claire was also in LA, she'd never met Noah before, but she knew everything about her cousin. The pair continued to bond with each other, which hinted at a possible romance rekindled down the line. Nick joined an exhausted Sharon at the hospital, and she broke down after seeing him. The situation brought back echoes of Cassie's untimely death 2 decades prior. Sharon was surprised it took Nick so long to arrive, and he cited weather issues for his delay. Nick wanted an update on Noah, but he arrived too late, and Noah was in surgery. He suffered several injuries to his face and skull in the accident. Nick couldn't believe it. Sharon panicked because she slept through Nick's calls. She said everything happened too quickly, but from what she heard from the medical team, the prognosis wasn't good. Nick promised to wait there together until they had more information. Sharon couldn't keep it together because of how many times they'd gone through this. It felt impossible for her not to think of Cassie while she dealt with this. Sharon knew something was off before she arrived in town. Although she tried to tell herself she was overreacting, the highway patrol phoned her to tell her about the accident. Noah swerved on the highway and landed in a ravine. Nick wondered if she knew more about the extent of his injuries and if someone else was in the car. She confirmed he was alone during the time of the accident. A nurse entered the room and told Sharon that Noah was out of surgery and in recovery. She asked for an update on Noah's condition, but the nurse left without giving any details. Sharon pleaded for Nick to return and broke down in tears while she waited for news that Noah would live. Luckily for Sharon, Nick returned quickly and she told him Noah was out of surgery. Nothing felt right about the accident or the bizarre buildup to it. Nick believed Noah felt nervous, and Sharon also felt like he was a little manic. Nick expressed frustration that Victor delayed his trip, but Sharon told him not to dwell on things they couldn't control. Nick and Sharon finally saw Noah, but once they did, the gravity of the situation seemed more dire. Noah was covered in bandages with a tube down his throat. The young and the restless spoilers reveal that 4 monster-sized twists could change everything, so let's discuss how Genoa City will be affected by the shockers happening in the coming months. 1. Monstrous new villain revealed. For starters, a new villain is going to shake things up. Someone obviously wanted to eliminate Noah Newman by sending his car down a ravine, so the person behind this hit will eventually be exposed. Roger Howarth's character hasn't been confirmed just yet, but there are signs that he might be romantically entangled with Sienna Bacall. Sienna has been in a long-term relationship with someone named Mitch, who could be the new baddie behind Noah's awful circumstances. Whatever the case, Noah's enemy may want to watch his back once Nick Newman gets updates on who's responsible. You can bet Nick will give Victor Newman that news, so Noah's grandfather could go after revenge. 2. Noah's unsettling transformation. Noah could undergo a bit of a monstrous transformation of his own, depending on how his brain injury affects him. We could see Noah awaken with at least partial amnesia and some major personality changes. Noah will focus on his independence rather than falling in line like a loyal Newman soldier, so he'll end up fighting with Nick down the road. Y&R spoilers say Noah will concentrate on his own path forward, but Nick and Sharon Newman will have concerns, especially considering whatever criminal situation their son has already landed in. 3. Kane's not a monster proof or continued downward spiral? As for Kane Ashby, he recently talked about his goal of proving to Lily Winters and the twins that he's not a monster. Will Kane pull off his redemption with some bold move that proves he's a good guy at heart? That might be a possibility for Kane at some point, but his actions might get worse before they get better. If Kane and Phyllis are on a bedroom collision course, that could spell disaster for Kane's reputation and next chapter. 4. Victor and Jack's feud reaches disturbing new levels. Over with Victor and Jack Abbott. Their feud is far from over. Jack and Victor are a little distracted by Kane at the moment, but it won't be long until they direct their attacks at each other once again. Some big betrayals and shocking blows are ahead in this Newman-Abbott conflict, so don't miss all the fury and devastation that'll be unleashed. The Young and the Restless, spoilers say things will turn downright monstrous on Y&R thanks to all these twists, so stay tuned. The Young and the Restless viewers may start to learn more about the enigmatic Holden Novak, played by Nathan Owens, now that the character is revisiting Los Angeles, where he used to live. The actor is sharing some insights into what viewers can expect. In an interview with Soap Opera Digest, Owens previewed what viewers might be able to expect now that Holden's spending time in Los Angeles with Claire and his old pal, Sienna. Holden's past does come back to haunt him, Owens shared. Paths are crossed unexpectedly, which puts Holden in a sticky situation. Details about Holden's and Sienna's past will come to light in future episodes, but Owens is thrilled to be working with Braun. He says she brings an interesting energy to the set, and he has found her personality to be simply delightful. This isn't the first time the two actors have been on the same show, but they weren't on it at the same time. Owens played Cameron on Days in 2012. At that time, Braun wasn't on the show, was either Ava Vitale or the other part she played, Taylor Walker. Owens says that they know people in common from their respective times in Salem. We know that Sienna is familiar with Audra Charles, and she may not have the fondest feelings for her, as Sienna appeared to be misremembering her name on purpose as Audrey. Nathan is, of course, highly concerned about whatever happened in Los Angeles between him and Audra, a secret that the two characters have referenced in Genoa City. While Audra showed a vulnerable side to Nate not that long ago, Nathan is fully aware that Audra can be cutthroat with people she doesn't like. Holden is enjoying his developing relationship with Claire, who seems to want Kyle to stay far away, and Holden certainly doesn't want Audra to ruin that. It is cool, because I'm also finding out as well as we go along, Owens shares. The Young and the Restless actress, Eileen Davidson, was honored by her peers for her work as Ashley last year with a Daytime Emmy nomination. As the big day approaches at the end of this week, Davidson is talking about being acknowledged. Davidson had plenty of material from which to choose her reel as she played a dissociative identity disorder storyline. I felt like I was supposed to go with that stuff that was kind of more colorful, and there was a lot of it, Davidson told Soap Opera Digest. She had 1 week's worth of shows that contained about 80 pages of dialogue. Pals at Y&R helped her remember particular scenes she'd done. TV sister Beth Maitland helped Davidson narrow down some choices. Rather than load up her reel with scenes that might have been confusing to judges who aren't regular Y&R viewers, Davidson kept her selections simple. She chose scenes where family members were concerned about Ashley's mental welfare. She included a scene with Tucker in which Ashley believes she's Ms. Abbott. Davidson also asked some family members, including her son, Jesse, her husband, Vincent Van Patten, and her niece. It takes a village, she says. Davidson is one of 4 Y&R actresses who are nominated for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Drama Series. Her fellow nominees include Sharon Case, Michelle Stafford, and Melissa Claire Egan. General Hospital actresses Nancy Lee Grahn and Laura Wright are also nominated. While Y&R has lots of nominations this year, Davidson believes that one long-running cast member who turned in exceptional work last year was overlooked. I really was hoping Melody, Thomas Scott, Nikki, would get nominated, Davidson said. Frankly, I thought she did some terrific work this year. The 52nd Annual Daytime Emmys are going to be held on Friday, October 17th, 2025, at 7 p.m. ET. Go to watchtheemmys.tv to view the program. The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that Lucas Adams' first air date has been revealed, so we now have a good idea of when to expect Noah Newman's coma awakening. Y&R fans know Noah was seriously injured in a crash after his car went into a ravine in the canyon. Although that crash was initially believed to be an accident, the witness's report tells a different story. It looks like somebody intentionally forced Noah off the road and sped off based on what that witness told Detective Burrow. Noah is in an induced coma due to brain swelling, but he's obviously going to pull through this nightmare. Lucas Adams is all set to play a Noah Newman recast, and fans won't have to wait much longer on his debut. According to TV Guide, Adams will make his first appearance as Noah on Tuesday, November 4th. Of course, Noah should be brought out of his coma around that time too. At the moment, Noah is just a faceless figure in a hospital bed. With all those bandages covering Noah's head, there's no point in having Adams step into the role just yet. A stand-in will continue to serve as injured Noah until Adams's first episode finally arrives. There's no confirmation so far on whether Noah's brain might get a bit scrambled. Some memory loss is certainly possible in a situation like this, especially on soaps since amnesia storylines are so common. Regardless, you can bet that Noah will face questions when he awakens about why he was driving in the canyon and who might have wanted to wipe him out. It'll be interesting to see how much Noah can remember once he opens his eyes and fills Sharon Newman, as well as Nick Newman, with relief. Noah's mystery will end up being connected to Sienna Bacall and Roger Howarth's character, who may turn out to be the shady guy named Mitch, who's already been mentioned as her partner for life. Are you looking forward to Lucas Adams' debut as Noah Newman on November 4th? How do you feel about all the Y&R action that's happening in Los Angeles? The Young and the Restless spoilers say Noah's secrets will unravel and lead to even more shocking news, so stay tuned for updates on all the curveballs. 1 year after taking home the 2024 Daytime Emmy Award for Supporting Actress, Young and Restless star Courtney Hope found herself up for the same trophy again at the 2025 ceremony to be held on October 17th. "It felt really cool," the actress shares with Soap Opera Digest of the accolade. Just to be nominated, and to be nominated again, is just such an honor. I was just really excited. And then I called my family, and I was on set, so it was kind of fun to celebrate with the people that were on set. The scenes Hope included in the Emmy reel that earned her the nomination showcased some variety by including both emotional outbursts and quieter moments. "I submitted the conversation with Adam when he had been lying to me over and over and over again about not being with Chelsea," she says. And then when Billy showed up and confronted Adam and basically said, "You need to tell her the truth." So that explosion where I'm saying, "You lied to me," and he still continues to do so. And finally, he tells the truth. I submitted a couple of those scenes, and then the scenes where it was Ava's anniversary of her death, Sally's baby, and I had conversations with Billy about how Adam forgot and hadn't said anything to me. So I was kind of navigating it alone, and wishing that we could navigate it together, but he was so wrapped up in what happened with Connor. Y&R has quite a few nominees in the various Emmy categories this year, but Hope believes there could always be more. "I feel like our entire cast is just so amazing," she enthuses. "I'm just a huge fan of everyone. I feel like anyone in this medium is incredible, but I'm just so gung-ho about our show. So anyone that submitted that didn't get nominated, I'm like, maybe we should take a look again at that. Because I just think everyone is incredible. I love sitting in my room and watching the TV and watching everybody film. It's one of my favorite things to do because I'm just so inspired." While the Emmy nominee was having trouble settling on a dress for the big night, she was excited to take her father, Phil, to pick out his tuxedo. "My family's coming in town," Hope shares. "They came in town last year, so now this is like their family trip. So they're gonna come in town, and then my dad's gonna go with me. He's only been once, and it was years and years ago when I first got on Bold and Beautiful, so I think it was like 2017 or 2018. I was presenting, and he came with me then. So this is a bit different experience, but I'm really excited for him to come along. Having found success in daytime through playing Sally on B&B, and now Y&R, Hope is thrilled she's able to return the favor to her parents by sharing some Hollywood magic with them. "Oh my gosh, he's been with me, doing this, since, well, for my whole life and really supporting me. So it'll be fun to share that with him. My family moved out here from Texas so that I could do what I wanted to do. So it only seems right that with all these things. Last year I brought my brother, and we went to Monte Carlo for the show this summer, and I brought my mom. It's just kind of nice to have them experience what they have also dedicated so much to. The Young and the Restless star, Sharon Case, is nominated for her second Lead Actress Daytime Emmy. Her incredible 2024 work was enough to earn her a nomination this year. However, she has tough competition from her co-stars, as well as two General Hospital leading ladies. 2024 was a phenomenon year for Case, with her 30th anniversary on YNR. The actress was front and center in a huge storyline, which had Sharon spiraling out of control. Sharon's life was turned upside down when hallucinations of Cameron urged her to seek revenge on Daniel. Things worsened when Sharon believed she killed Heather during a blackout and dumped her body in a river. As Sharon struggled with her guilt and the prospect of prison, little did she know a dastardly duo was responsible for her problems. Case's gripping performance of Sharon's descent earned her a nomination for Lead Actress. Although she's a fan favorite to win, she has tough competition. Her YNR co-stars Eileen Davidson, Melissa Claire Egan, and Michelle Stafford are also nominated, as well as GH actresses Nancy Lee Grahn and Laura Wright. All the ladies did incredible work, and as Case told TV Insider, "It's a very, very strong year." The star calls her fellow nominees strong actresses who had big storylines. With the competition tough this year, it's anybody's game come Daytime Emmy night. For Case, just being nominated is enough for her. It makes us all feel all the more grateful and honored you were part of this. It makes being nominated all that really matters, because that's the prize right there, especially with the category loaded like this. Case has been nominated for 7 Daytime Emmys, 2 for Younger Actress, 2 for Lead Actress, and 3 for Supporting Actress. She took home the award for Supporting Actress in 1989, her only Daytime Emmy win to date. Loyal Sharon fans feel the actress is long overdue for another win, and this might be her year. She gave an emotional performance in 24, and she's one of the leading contenders for this year's race. Could 2025 finally see Case add another Daytime Emmy to her mantle? Holden brought Claire to the hottest place in Los Angeles. On The Young and the Restless, October 14th, his past came back to haunt him. He ran into Sienna, who seemed to have dirt on Holden. Holden pulled out all the stops on his trip to LA with Claire. He brought her to only the best spots. One of those stops included a nightclub owned by Sienna Bacall. Her appearance almost made him crawl under the table. Sienna mentioned that Holden was quite a troublemaker back in the day. She even dropped a name that made him nearly choke on his Vesper: Audra. Claire was intrigued and wanted to learn more about Holden's past. He's been holding out on it, up to this point. Holden told Sienna that Audra should be left in his past, where he'd like to forget what happened. He wanted to focus on showing Claire the best that LA has to offer. He warned Sienna not to make him regret his decision by bringing up his past. So, she flattered them by sending them the next round of drinks on her. When Claire left the table, Sienna asked Holden if she scared her off. Holden warned her about bringing up Audra. It's bad enough that Claire and Audra have issues with one another. Meanwhile, Sienna claimed that Claire didn't fit Holden's usual type. She looks too innocent. However, Holden claimed that Claire is smart and unpredictable, just like her. What's even more interesting is what Sienna told Claire when she returned. She warned her not to take anyone's crap and not to let anyone step on her. Claire was intrigued and wondered if this had something to do with Holden. What kind of dirt does Sienna have on Holden and Audra? Does she know what kind of trouble they got into during their time in LA? Holden and Audra supposedly committed a crime when they were involved. Sienna could have been a witness, or maybe she was involved in some way. As she warned Holden, the past never stays in the past. The Young and the Restless, spoilers for Friday, October 17th, end the week of Jack giving Billy another chance, and Nick attempting to figure out what kind of trouble his son has gotten into. Key takeaways. Jack and Billy have a multi-decade routine going. Billy gets an idea, Jack supports him 100%. Billy doesn't feel that's enough. Billy does something stupid to test Jack's loyalty. Jack points out that Billy is being stupid. Billy throws a tantrum, railing that Jack never believed in him and storms out. Rinse. Repeat. Jack blames himself. Billy blames Jack. So yeah, that's what's going on now. For those playing along at home, they're at the stage now where Jack reaches out to Billy to make amends, and Billy allows Jack to apologize for saving Billy from himself. If Jack plays his cards right, Billy might even allow Jack to make it up to him. Sharon is too hysterical over Noah's accident to think much about how it might have happened, but Nick suspects there is more here than meets the eye. He wants to know why his son was hurt and who might be behind it. So Nick goes looking behind curtains that nobody wants him to look behind. Will he be happy with what he finds? And could it be the last thing he ever sees? We're certainly getting a lot of references to Audra's past all of a sudden, aren't we? First, Sienna discussed her with Holden and Claire, and now we're reminded that Noah and Audra have a history as well. Audra and Noah dated in England, but Audra and Holden dated in LA. And now Noah is in LA. And now Noah is hurt. Audra can't help but wonder if this might be connected to her. Not all things are about her, of course, but everyone in Genoa City sure seems to think that all bad things are. Young and the Restless spoilers for Octu 20-24, 2025 reveal Sally Spectra pushing back, and Nick Newman absolutely furious. As we always do on Early Edition Day, we start with what is going to happen the rest of this week, and then we're going to talk about what's ahead next week. So you have the context for all those spoilers. Kyle Abbott heads to Los Angeles to win back Claire Grace Newman. He shows up at her hotel with flowers, smiling. But she's not happy to see him. Kyle confesses that Victoria Newman told him where to find her, and Claire doesn't like that at all. Still, he insists he's there to protect her from Holden Novak. Claire pushes back hard. She told Kyle she needed time and space, but there he is again. When he asks her out for that night, she refuses, saying she already has plans with Holden. When Kyle keeps pressing, Claire makes it clear she's made her choice. Holden shows up, and Kyle demands he leave them alone. Claire reluctantly gives Kyle a few minutes while Holden waits downstairs. Kyle opens up about his heartbreak, upset that Claire dumped him and ran off with Holden. Claire shrugs, reminding him she asked for breathing room, but he kept trying to control her. His behavior only reinforces why she left. Kyle insists he loves her, but Claire says she needs to find herself and can't do that under his watchful eye. Meanwhile, back in Genoa City, Victoria tells Nate Hastings about Noah Newman's car crash. Nate plans a large donation to University Hospital in honor of his late brother. Victoria also regrets giving Kyle Claire's location. Back in LA, Sharon Newman tells Nick their son Noah suffered serious injuries, facial and skull damage. After surgery, Noah pulls through, but his parents are shaken. Sharon is distraught that another of her children has been hurt after Cassie and Faith's accidents. They can't understand why Noah was all the way out in Malibu so late at night. Nick recalls Noah seeming nervous the last time they talked. When they finally see him, his face is completely bandaged. On Thursday, October 16th, Sharon and Nick cross paths with a mysterious stranger, Detective Burrow, who's investigating Noah's crash. Meanwhile, Mariah Copeland is stunned by a surprise visit from Tessa Porter at the mental health facility where she's receiving treatment on Young and the Restless. Nikki Newman decides to handle matters personally and confronts Kane Ashby about his dangerous AI project. On Friday, October 17th, Audra Charles faces a painful reminder of her past. It could involve Nate, Amy Lewis, or even Holden. At the same time, Nick continues digging for the truth behind Noah's crash, while Jack Abbott tries to mend fences with Billy Abbott. For the week of October 20th through the 24th, Kyle returns home from LA and lashes out at Audra, blaming her for everything, including Claire's exit with Holden. Meanwhile, Victor Newman, Adam Newman, and Chelsea Lawson Newman believe they've cornered Kane, but his alliance with Phyllis Summers could turn deadly if provoked. Billy struggles as Jill Abbott departs Genoa City for treatment in London. He's frustrated by her constant favoritism toward Kane and her influence over Abbott.com's funding. We'll also see tension between Sienna Bacall and Holden as past secrets threaten to surface. Nick remains focused on uncovering who targeted Noah, teaming up with Detective Burrow to get to the truth. Though Claire isn't cruel, she firmly rejects Kyle's pleas. He lingers in LA, hoping she'll change her mind, but Claire may need to tell him bluntly to leave town. Kyle's insistence on control may be the final straw for her. For now, she's moving on. With Holden, and without him. Y&R. Spoilers, Holden's secret past with Audra explodes, threatening to destroy everything with Claire. The young and the restless spoilers reveal that a night out in Los Angeles is about to unravel a web of secrets that could tear a couple apart. When Holden takes Claire to a familiar downtown club, the atmosphere is immediately charged with a hidden history. The way the owner greets him and the shadows in the corners suggest Holden wasn't just a guest here. He was part of its very fabric. The tension skyrockets with the arrival of Sienna, an old acquaintance whose eyes hold a history book of Holden's past. Holden introduces her as a good friend, a phrase that sounds more like a warning than a welcome. Sienna, unimpressed, immediately drops a bombshell name that hangs in the air like smoke. Audra Charles. The name is a key rattling in a lock, and Claire knows it's about to open a door Holden wanted to keep sealed forever. Her suspicions confirmed, Claire follows an invisible pull down a hallway where she overhears a hushed, heated exchange between Holden and Sienna. "How long are you going to hide it from her?" Sienna challenges. "This place isn't just a memory, it's a safe, and you know who has the key." In that moment, the pieces click into place for Claire. The club was a front, a transit station for secret deals, and Holden and Audra were at the center of it all. Choosing confrontation over silence, Claire corners Sienna and demands the truth. Sienna, recognizing the look of a woman who has already glimpsed the abyss, doesn't hold back. "This place used to be a chessboard," she explains. Audra played, Holden moved. Years ago, a large sum of money was moved through the club to make someone's problems disappear. Audra and Holden were accomplices, each holding a key to the transaction, binding them together in a secret that has haunted Holden ever since. Armed with this partial truth, Claire confronts Holden on the club's steps. "You lied," she states, her voice firm. Cornered, Holden finally cracks, admitting his fear. Not that Claire would leave him, but that she would see him as the man he used to be. But a beautiful confession isn't enough. Claire issues a stark ultimatum. "Tomorrow, you tell me everything, no holding back. If not, we're done." The next day, in the stark light of a cafe, Holden lays his past bare. He confesses to a deal made with Audra to save a friend from legal ruin. He was the one who moved the money. Audra was the one who held the information that made it possible. Their connection wasn't love, but a partnership built on power and complicity. "I thought I was saving someone," Holden concludes, "but I was just putting on a collar." Audra held the other end. Claire listens without judgment, but her response is not one of simple forgiveness. She sees the bigger picture. The truth between them can't exist if Audra still holds a key to a locked door in their lives. "I don't need you to be innocent," she tells him. "I need you to be brave." She makes it clear that for them to have a future, he must face Audra and sever the ties that bind him to his past. Later that night, Holden makes the call. With Claire listening silently in the same room, he ends his connection to Audra. His hands tremble, not from fear of Audra's retaliation, but from the relief of finally dropping a weight he has carried for years. But in Genoa City, cutting ties is never clean. Has Holden truly freed himself, or has he just declared war on a woman who never leaves the game, but simply changes her seat at the table? His quest for redemption has just begun, and the price of his freedom may be higher than he ever imagined.